All right, I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting of the Cordova Recreation and Park District on this Wednesday, October 16th, 2019 at 6:30 PM. And we will start with the pledge.
I'd like to ask up Park Planning and Development Manager Laura Taylor to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, stay up here. So we were so unbelievably pleased that Laura received the CSDA's honor of Staff Person of the Year. She received the honor at the last CSDA conference in Anaheim. It's well-deserved. The nomination was a competitive program, and she shined as she does with us. And so I just wanted to give Laura an opportunity and also to give her a round of applause for all of her dedication and hard work to the district. It's a well-deserved award, and we really appreciate you.
And here's the award I was given, which I think is a beautiful award, right? But mostly I wanted to just say thank you to all of my coworkers, to, I know Christina and Patrick worked very hard to put that application together without me knowing about it. And also I wanted to thank the board because I've felt like they've always supported me through all the stuff that we have done in the past 6 years. So thank you all very much.
All right, I guess we'll move on to roll call.
Director Reyes.
Here.
Director Lineback.
Here.
Secretary Sloan. Present. Vice Chair Danzel.
Here.
And Chair Yearwood.
Here. All right, board disclosures on agenda items. Does anybody have anything they need to disclose? Since nobody's looking at me, I'll take that as a no. All right. All right, we will move on to comments by the public on non-agenda items.
Thank you. Members of the public may address the board on district topics not listed on this agenda. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. It is a violation of state law for the board to discuss or take action on non-agenda items. Board members may only briefly ask clarifying questions or refer the matter to staff. And at this time, I do have 2 speaker cards. I'd like to welcome to the podium first, Dennis Davis, please.
Good evening. It's hard for a guy with gray hair to keep it in 3 minutes, but I'm going to try to hurry. I was asked to come here by a number of people at the Cordova Golf Course. There was a time, about 5 years ago, when I was asked to put together a program that would reduce the number of free golf rounds on the course. And to that end, I came up with a system and I briefed all the volunteers. There's quite a large number at that time of volunteers handling different functions on the course. When they worked a shift, at the end of the shift, they had to go to the starter, and the starter gave them a free round card. The difference in that and the previous system was there was a tracking record, and if they did not submit a card when they returned, they did not get a free round. And that policy substantially reduced the number of free rounds. Now, one of the caveats on that system was we're dealing with an older group, and so medical and trips abroad, different things interfere with their ability to play. So those cards were labeled as do not expire, and there was a reason for that. And with that, the force at the time accepted the new policy, and so when they worked, they were issued a card. If they remembered to ask, they were issued a card by the starter, and then they could use that card whenever in the future. There was no deadlines. There is apparently a recent policy at the course. I'm not familiar with it, but the course, according to the phone calls I got, is denying and saying there's a policy change. They will no longer honor those cards. And so there's a great deal of turbulence going on. They're talking about the labor relations boards, all kinds of things going on. And I came up here tonight to make a very brief 3-minute presentation and to tell you what was and why it was, because there are people out there that have worked a shift or they wouldn't have a card. And I think that we are standing perhaps in jeopardy if we suddenly say, well, we've changed our mind. We're not going to honor what was in place at the time. So does anyone have any questions of me?
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not allowed to discuss. So
Oh, okay,
yeah.
I did not know that,
Yeah.
forgive me.
That's okay.
Anyhow,
What we can do is we can refer you to the superintendent of golf, and we can work with the understanding of, if we've, at the initial offer of what we were doing, we can ask that you meet with our Director of Parks and Recreation to discuss the reimbursement of what you feel like you were told you were expected to have and what you have
really
been told.
wasn't me so much as I'm the one that held the meetings and told all of the volunteers what the new system was. I put it in place at the direction of Mr. Marta, and that's why I'm getting the phone calls about it. But my number is on the card, and I'd be willing to meet with anyone if I can to kind of help unravel this before it becomes an unnecessary issue.
Sure, we'll refer your comments to the Director of Parks and Recreation, and she'll be in touch with you. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to welcome to the podium Guy Fredericks, please.
Good evening. My name's Guy Fredericks, which you know. I'm a former employee of Cordova Golf and Recreation and a former assistant marshal. I have an extensive background in business and has been very successful nationwide and worldwide. The commitment we made to the golfers and the decision that we're making now to take this privilege away from them is not a good decision, and I say that because it's causing dissension, and that's what you do not want. You want to have your employees happy, you want to have them productive. I'm one that would be involved in this. I have 8 tickets. I worked for 2 years for a salary, a year before that for tickets. So I just want to say that it's really not in the best interest of the golf course to do this. We've already had one incident this year that it's a big change. We need to settle everybody down and we need to proceed with the business. You have an awful lot of opportunity out there. I had some other facts and figures to give you. You think you're giving out a ticket for, it's costing you the full price of that golf. It's not. Figure out, your accounting can help you figure out what the cost is for you to put that golfer on that course. And it's cheap. You're paying 30% on the dollar, if not. The cards were a great idea. I prefer them, simple, because it's a instant gratification. You're paid right now. You don't wait for a check, you've got it. The problem with that, and a benefit to you, is it's paper. It wears out. Your wife washes it, you wash it, and you lose it. So the amount of those that are out there is minimal. I heard a figure that was out, that these cards were given, and in my business, they would be nothing. They're not even on my advertising budget. You don't want to penalize the new manager. Simply have accounting to safeguard your system. Rectify those cards, take them out during the day. There's no money involved. You have some of the cheapest labor. I wish I had that when I was a businessman, get 30 to 50% of my business free. So anyway, I know you'll make the right decision. I'm not asking for one. You can't give me one. I appreciate your time. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll also have our Director of Parks and Recreation follow up with you as well, just so that you have a clarity as to what we're able to do.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Mr. Larkin. Thank you.
All right, and no other cards, correct?
Correct.
All right, guess we'll move on to the consent calendar.
Thank you. Consent calendar items are considered administratively routine and will be acted upon in one motion unless separate action on a specific item is necessary. The chairperson will consider any request for discussion on the items prior to approval of the consent calendar. And this evening, we have 6 items for your consideration.
All right, anyone have any discussion on, okay.
I'd like to, do we discuss already or pull?
No, we're just discussing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Discussing C1,
okay.
item C1 with the school district 2x2 standing committee meeting. I just wanted to ask, because I do know that we've had a lot of discussion and information on the Alstrom Park situation, and I just wanted to know what was the situation, knowing full well that the school supposedly has the majority of the property they're wanting to improve or so, but then again, where is the discussion on how our property fits in?
Sure, we did discuss that at the meeting. Right now, where it is that the district and the school district, as well as the city, have been working cooperatively to come up with a plan for both the school property and our property that is on that shared site. And we originally went into this with an idea of what we wanted to have done with parking, and we wanted some ideas of reconfiguring some of the orientation of the parks or the fields that are out there. And so when you have pie in the sky ideas and you start that way, we expected the price tag to end up closer to what the original budget was that the city said that they had to potentially afford to do this. It turns out that after all of the feedback was given from the committee and the stakeholders, Little League, us, city, as well as the school district, it turns out that the price tag was much, much higher than they had originally anticipated. So with that, they're back to the drawing board and looking at possible phasing of kind of a remodel, I would say, more than a replacement of that particular facility. So they have not brought it back to the city council for their suggestions as to how to move forward at this time. I just know that the original designs and plans that we had discussed are going to be phased in a reality closer to what the budget will allow. And that's really the discussions that we've been having. It's been a good partnership with all stakeholders, but it really does come down to the money. And so in comparison, there's the Mill Station softball complex that was it's actually ready to be open pretty soon. So they were guessing with that amount that they spent on that project, it would be very similar to apply that logic to this particular complex. And it's not the same situation. So they'll be looking to go forward with both of us in the school district in a phasing approach, not an overall pull it all out and remodel it.
What is the budget they're talking about?
The budget they had been discussing originally was closer to 3.5 million, and the designs came back from the consultant at 8.
Wow. Wow, that's substantial.
They were close.
Wow, that's really something. But one of the biggest things, and I know that, Patrick, that you are always holding it as importance is, again, our need to make sure that the community is involved in, what's going to be happening in that, because it's already within an established community.
Yeah, definitely. A part of the conditions of our involvement in this partnership was that eventually when they came to what they were going to put shovel in the ground to whatever it turns out to be, that there would be a community meeting held prior to that happening so that the community give their input on that plan and the design. So it's a condition of our involvement.
Thank you. That's my question.
Any other questions or no? All right, do you care to make a motion?
So we'll go ahead and move that we approve the consent calendar C1, 2, 3, 4, C5, and C6.
All right, motion by Director Reyes. Do you have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Director Lineback. Roll call vote.
Director Reyes?
Aye.
Director Lineback?
Aye.
Secretary Sloan? Aye. Vice Chair Danzel?
Aye.
And Chair Yearwood?
Aye. All right, looks like we'll move on to D, presentations.
Thank you. Item D1 is a presentation of the Special District Leadership Foundation Recognition and Special District Governance Certificate to Chairperson Michael Yearwood. And I'd like to welcome to the podium Dean Wadley from CSDA.
Well, good evening, board members, staff, and community members. Dane Wadley, CSDA Field Coordinator for our Sierra Network. And if I could just take a moment to once again congratulate Laura on behalf of CSDA for all of your great work. It was very well deserved, as obviously you guys know, and not only for her work, of course, with you guys at the district, but helping out with CSDA with some of our legislative tours that we've done up here. We've come to some of your facilities in the past, brought some staff from Sacramento, and Laura has been quite a presenter on some of those projects that you guys have been working forward, and very memorable to a number of those attendees. So congratulations again, Laura. Thank you so much. Was really glad to see her earn that. I'll turn to another presentation. Right, I'm full of good news tonight, obviously, and we'll have to do these to make a presentation to Chair Yearwood for the Special District Leadership Foundation's recognition in special district governance, which the chair has earned, and I know the other 4 of you have also earned too. So now it's a full board to do that, and we sure are happy that you all have done that. As you may recall, I'm just touch on a little bit of background about the Leadership Foundation. It's the foundation arm of CSDA, promotes best practices, good governance in districts through a variety of recognition programs, and of course one of them being the recognition in district governance. To earn the certificate, again, I know most of you're familiar with this, but the primary thing is attending our Special District Leadership Academy, which we hold twice a year, and as you know, again, a very intensive 2.5 days where you have classes on governance and community, community leadership, finance, HR, et cetera. So you get this stack of binder that's, this big, and it's a little overwhelming even for all of us in special district world, but I know it's a lot of good information. And then you have to attend that conference, and there's also 10 hours of additional continuing education through CSDA or some other local government organization. So again, quite a extensive process and learning to just earn this. We don't just give it to anybody, as I like to say. So again, the recognition, as we know why it's all important, just to showcase obviously your commitment to your community and doing the best job as you can as a board member, Director Yearwood, and of course there are 4 of you as well. Obviously that's one of the main things, but it's also too, as I make this connection with all of these recognition programs for CSDA, and it's very relevant now. So I just got back. We had a 2-day legislative tour for a number of legislative staffers up in Butte County. We took them up to a number of districts up there, obviously showcased a lot of districts, and then talked about, our recognition programs and how many we have, how many board members and staff we have going through these programs, to showcase that it's not just, everyone shows up on a Wednesday night here at 6:30 and goes through an agenda and then they go home. There's these board members who are doing so much work outside of that. Obviously, you guys are representative of that, and you truly can see a lot of, again, those light bulbs kind of going off and showcasing the commitment of all of our special district folks to the individuals down in Sacramento, which of course is vitally important because that's where our authority obviously all comes through state law. So just wanted to make that connection. And then also too, going forward, I mentioned, this is just one of the recognition programs that the Leadership Foundation has. And with the 5 of you now having your recognition district governance, you are even closer to getting our District of Distinction, which is kind of the next level of recognition for a special district. So you have to earn your District Transparency Certificate of Excellence first, which my guess is you guys are probably 90% of the way there, maybe even 95. And then with all of you, like I said, with your recognition district governance, you're even closer to getting that District of Distinction, which is kind of the gold standard of CSDA. So of course, we're always pushing you to the next level, right? We always want to keep getting better. So anyways, hopefully this is, a quick plug to put that in your next strategic plan or your next objectives to pursue that. I'd sure love to come back out here and do those presentations for you guys as well. But all that being said, happy to answer any questions, but would just like to congratulate Director Yearwood. We have obviously a certificate here and a nice SDLF pen. For earning the recognition in special district governance through the Special District Leadership Foundation. Congratulations.
Oh, is it time for that? All right. Well, thank you. About time. Part of the clause, right? I hope that wasn't the requirement to become a man. Where's the light?
Up here a little bit more.
I want to make sure I'm in the dark.
Behind the podium?
Okay. Like this, Jill?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
The photo bomb in the back.
Somebody get in the back of my picture.
No, he's not. Which
I'm not,
really
Mike.
surprised that he is not photobombing you. I'm gonna take one up and down. Wonderful. Awesome.
Michael, she said it.
Oh, this is yours. So too. Don't forget the pen. Whoops. I'm dropping it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. You put it in the vault. Oh, that's what I forgot. Good job. Huh? Oh. All right. All right, so we're on to the next thing. Transparency, right?
Yes.
All right, and then distinction.
Yes.
All right, I think we
Now
get,
we're ready to roll.
we get Corvettes when we do that or something? Like NASA astronauts or something? All right, we'll move on to D2.
Thank you. Item D2 is acknowledgement of promotions and introduction to new staff, and we're always very excited to do this. So we're going to start with the Recreation Department first. I'd like to welcome to the podium Marco Hardin to introduce Vanessa Burton, please.
Good evening. I'm Marco Hardin. I'm the golf course manager at Cordova Golf Course. I'm here this evening to proudly introduce our new administrative assistant, Vanessa Burton. Vanessa?
Thank you. Thank you, Marco. I appreciate your introduction. Good evening. I would like to thank you all for giving me this opportunity to work as an administrative assistant at Cordova Golf Course. I am looking forward to working with Marco, VJ, and the rest of the team to improve the golf course. I also look forward to providing excellent customer service to the community because I want to make sure they have an amazing, memorable experience at Cordova Golf Course. My goal is to effectively assist Marco as best as I can. My second goal is to demonstrate excellent communication and work ethics. Lastly, my goal is to make sure that Cordova Golf Course has a new beginning. Thank you.
All right. Welcome, yes. Thank you. Oh, yes.
And welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Next, I'd like to welcome to the podium Laura Taylor to introduce Andrew Saltmarsh.
Okay, well, it's my pleasure to introduce Andrew Saltmarsh as the Park Planning Department Administrative Assistant. So prior to applying for the full-time position, he has worked part-time for the department as a clerical too. And prior to that, had several years of prior experience as an office administrator. His history degree from UC Santa Cruz no doubt contributed to his excellent writing and research skills. Andrew has a passion for community-based organizations, having worked and volunteered at the Santa Cruz Public Library and the Live Oak Grange in Santa Cruz. He is a great cook and makes a marvelous bread from scratch whenever we have potlucks. He actually brings fresh bread to our potlucks.
Look forward to that.
He is calm under pressure and brings a positive, grounding influence to park planning operations because, you know, we can spaz out quite often. So we're very thankful that we have him on our team. So if you'd like to say anything, you're welcome.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you all. I've been working for the district now for close to a year. Started November 1st, and it's been we're 2 weeks away from my year anniversary, and I've learned a lot. I'm learning from the best, Laura Taylor, Christina James, our construction inspector, John Viundo, and I've been working with a great manager, Patrick Larkin, and I look forward to continue to working with everyone as I, become a better public servant and help plan and build a community. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Congratulations. Yeah. I do remember meeting Andrew at our community outreach meetings, yes. And I do remember noticing how well you worked with our residents and constituents, the patients, and they were talking to you a lot, and so, great.
Thank you so much.
We actually had two other staff members that could not be here tonight. So let me tell you about Jenny Ta. She is our Recreation Coordinator 1 who got a promotion to Recreation Coordinator 2. Jenny works over at the Neil Orchard Senior Activity Center, but she has a sick child at home that she's taking care of. So we hope that Oliver feels better. And then Tammy Robinger, she's our new Park Services Supervisor 2. You'll get to hopefully meet her next month. She does have classes that she attends on Wednesday evenings, so it might be a little difficult for her to get to board meetings, but we will welcome her. Hopefully we'll get her here. If not, we'll tell you a little bit more history about her if she's not able to attend next month.
Wonderful.
All right.
That's great.
Excellent.
We'll remember the names, and hopefully when we get to see them or, at the Thanksgiving maybe staff meeting or so, that would be really nice.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
That is all. So I guess we will adjourn for about 15 minutes or so for refreshment and cake. And it is 6:56, so we'll adjourn at 6:60. Yeah.
So we have cake
All right.
for celebrating our new onboarded staff. So please join
Yes.
us in the conference room
All right.
for 15 minutes.
Yes, 15 minutes. That was. Yeah.
14 into 30.